Namaste and welcome to another great day at the Mike and Connor Homestead. Today we're going to talk about eggs after they come inside. So I've got two eggs here. One is a bleached store-bought egg. You can see how white it is. That's why these eggs get so white, is because they are bleached. The reason that they bleach them is to try and prevent salmonella on the shell. This one is from my garden. So this is I would consider pasteurized, organic, cage-free, free-range egg, all of it. So we'll go over those terms later on in this episode. Now, we're going to crack these open in a minute, but just so you know, I wanted to show them to you. When you bleach an egg, what happens is there is a kind of covering that the chickens naturally create over the egg, and if you clean it, you have to refrigerate it immediately. From a book I read, it said that chickens actually produce a film over the egg that allows them to stay unrefrigerated for up to 30 days, depending on how hot it is where the egg is. I've never tried that. I still put it in the refrigerator after I get them out, but I'd believe it. There is definitely a natural film over these that would allow it to stay a lot longer. So thought that was really interesting that they bleach them and then you got to refrigerate them right after. How you can tell if an egg is still good, regardless of if it's store-bought or from your garden, would be you could either float it, and if an egg floats, that means it's not good because there's so much air built up inside of the shell that it's floating. That means that it's gone bad. The more air inside of the egg, the longer it's been around. So a floating egg is a bad egg. Another way to check would be to do something that's called candling. And what candling an egg means is putting light in it so you can see what's going on the inside of the egg. You can also check if an egg is fertile or infertile that way if you have a rooster in your flock. I do not have a rooster in my flock, so none of my eggs are fertile because I do not have a rooster. I was told that a fertile egg is a lot healthier than an infertile egg, but I don't think there's a huge difference. I think that either way, if the chicken is out running wild and having a good time through its life, you're going to have a better egg because they're not as stressed out. They're not being put through as much hardship as this egg that is just a regular egg. Regular eggs, they're pretty harsh conditions. The chicken has enough room to live as an iPad, so that would be the amount of space that it has to walk around. They normally cut the beaks off of the chickens as well as declaw them somehow, and this is just a ton of stress for the chicken. And then they just pump out as many eggs as they can. They normally give them hormones or GMOs or whatever they are. They just do a bunch of stuff to them just to maximize production. Feed them the cheapest food possible, normally a corn-based feed, and you'll see in the color of the yolk when we open them how yellow the store-bought egg is opposed to how orange the free-range egg is. The free-range egg, they're probably eating bugs, anything but corn, more natural things that a chicken would eat, weeds. I've got some organic laying feed, a bunch of stuff. So in the wild, they get a really well-balanced diet, and that shows in the yolk. Another thing that I've noticed is the thickness of the shell on an egg from my garden, from my area, is a lot thicker than the store-bought egg. It takes a lot more to crack it and open it, which is good. And then when I do get them open, I notice there's a thicker membrane around the yolk, as well as even the white has kind of a defined shape to it. And I can tell if I put water in with the egg, you can see just the definition of the white and the yolk. Whereas with the store-bought egg, it's just kind of like a blob, kind of like watery. It's just not, there's no real membrane around the white, and even the actual yolk is kind of flat. The egg from the chicken coop here has a more oval type. It's because it's fresher and it's not as flat. Now, another thing when you're storing eggs, when you're storing regular eggs, you never want to continually reuse a cardboard or a styrofoam container, you want to get yourself a plastic container. Something you can clean, because you're reusing it over and over again, and eventually cardboard or styrofoam containers will attract bacteria and harmful things that you really don't want. So I always suggest using plastic when you are storing the eggs in the refrigerator. So next I'm going to go ahead and pop these open so you can get an idea of what they look like on the inside. So let's start off. This is the regular store-bought egg. You can see it actually doesn't look super bad. It's, again, the white is pretty runny. You can see how thin the shell is. Really thin, very brittle. Not a lot of membrane. You see this little white stuff in here on the outside. So let's close up of the egg so you can kind of see what the egg looks like up close. You can see how yellow it is. Not really that great. So let me put that down. Now let's go ahead and try our good egg. So immediately can find that it's a lot thicker. You can see there's the shell itself. It's got nice color to it. Again, probably because it's Easter egg layer. And you can see how thick even the membrane on the inside is. Just a better egg quality through the shell. It's really thick. And then let me go ahead and show you the yolk itself. It's got a big yolk. A little bigger than the other one. You can see how much more color's in it. Again, the white is a little runny on this one, but better than the store-bought. But you can see definitely a much tastier egg, much more fresh, just a better all-around egg. And I'm looking on my iPad right here, and I can kind of get an idea of the good egg versus the store-bought egg and how much better it really is. So I mentioned the free-range, cage-free, pasture-raised, there's organic, there's all these terms that they use when they're selling you an egg. And a lot of it's just marketing. I mean, you're going to spend a lot more money on a cage-free egg, and a cage-free egg is exactly that. A chicken that's not in a cage when it's alive. Well, even though it's not in a cage doesn't mean that it's still subjected to a lot of hardship. They still can raise it inside of a warehouse. They could still put really bad conditions on it. It could be living in an inch of its own doo-doo. They can still cut the beak off. It just means that it's not in a cage. And I just think that's really lame that someone would put a word like that on the cover of an egg carton that you would spend an extra couple bucks on for just one thing, that it's just not in a cage. It still could have the same size of an iPad to live on. Free range, what that term means is that it is out of the cage. It still can be raised in a warehouse. They just need to have an outdoor space for the chicken. So you could have like a 10,000 square foot warehouse filled to the brim with chickens and have a 10 foot by 10 foot outdoor area, and that's a free range egg. Now this pasture raised egg is the newest term, and that means that it has to be raised outside from start to finish, and that's probably your best bet for a high-end store-bought egg. Probably more organically fed. I don't know to what extent it requires, but you know, I think that's probably your best term if you are trying to purchase these things at a store. I would consider my eggs to be organic, pasture-raised eggs. They're free, they roam the earth, and pretty good living standards on my eggs. But I just be really wary if you've been going to the store every week and you're buying cage-free eggs thinking that you're getting a really high-quality egg. I would think twice about it. You probably aren't. You're probably getting a subpar egg that's kind of just not very good. So always want you know, people to know what these corporations are throwing at you when you go to the store and thinking you're going to spend some extra money to get a better quality of health out of it. So I think that stress is a huge thing for birds. You know, their immune systems dissipate, and they end up just producing these really weak eggs that are very nutrient deficient and just don't feel like it's the same. I'll never go back after starting to raise eggs, and if you do start raising chickens to get those good eggs that you're eating within a day of them laying, you'll know what I'm saying. So with that, I want to give my shout out today to my Aunt Cindy and Uncle Albert. They live in Walnut Creek area, but they're really good aunts and uncle. Well, aunt and uncle. They have been good friends over the years. Albert kind of helped me get through college, helping me stay employed so that I could get my degree, and I'm really thankful for that, Uncle Albert. Very appreciative. I know you've been watching my videos, and I hope you like them. So, Uncle Albert, you're pretty awesome. Thanks for all the help through the years, and I owe you, man. So if you ever have some really dirty work you want me to do, hit me up. I got your back. So with that, mahalo for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.